You've probably seen this a bunch of times already.
Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority.
Now, here's why it's important. That's Stephen Miller freezing in his tracks on CNN because he realizes he's giving the game away. The game is that he and his friends in the administration want to impose martial law. They want to invoke the Insurrection Act. They want to give Trump absolute power. That's what he froze on, realizing he was saying. With that kind of power, Trump has a path to two things. One is having absolute control to be able to suppress any dissent against the moves he wants to make. And the second is they technically could suspend elections. Why might they want to suspend elections? They're terrified of losing, of getting shellacked, as Obama said, in the midterms, because everything they've done is so appalling, so disappointing. People are really, really angry across the political spectrum. So when Stephen Miller presents a narrative like this,
when ICE officers have to street battle against Antifa, when in our history have we tolerated unlawful riotous assemblies? This is the textbook definition of domestic terrorism. And unless we send in troops and resources, then we will continue to bleed federal law enforcement resources in these street battles. It's absurd, it's unconstitutional, it must be put down.
You better believe he is sitting at home watching on the edge of his seat, hoping that the No Kings protests turn into anything approaching a riot so that they can start to say our cities are ungovernable. There's political violence in the street. Antifa, this incredibly organized, dangerous, communist, anarchist organization, is just running rampant. We all know that that's not true, but this is the narrative that's being seeded. Stephen Miller is going out and spreading this propaganda. When he does it on CNN, he gets pushback. When he does it other places, he just gets received uncritically. When they share footage from Portland in 2020 and say this is Portland right now, it solidifies the idea in middle America, especially amongst MAGA supporters, that there is some crazy uprising happening and that martial law would be justified. So one way of thinking about this is that the purpose of protest is to sway public opinion. It's about taking people who are neutral or people who think they might oppose the protests and having them see on the news images that are created through the actions of protesters where it is really clear who the bad guys are. It's really clear that there is a disproportionate, repressive, authoritarian response happening, that there is police brutality happening. That way, when Stephen Miller and Trump and Bondi and whomever else, Pete Hegseth, start to make the case that we need to send in the military, we need to call in the National Guard, we need to declare a state of emergency and martial law and invoke the Insurrection Act, public opinion will be completely opposed to that.